Hello, and welcome back to Hostinger Academy. Today we are back with another webinar. This time we have inside guest from Hostinger, Bernadetta. She's my colleague. She is a senior inbound marketing specialist. And as far as I know, she's a creative soul. She's always on the lookout for new ways to draw attention of potential customers so they would turn to our clients. As also I know Bernadetta, she likes to backpack on her free time. So this is a short introduction about Bernadetta. Hello, Bernadetta.
Hi, Gvedas. How are you?
I'm great. I was looking forward to our webinar. We even talked a couple of weeks ago, I believe. So I'm very excited to hear what you have prepared for us. And also, as I can see, we have right now 9 viewers. So if it's not a problem, could you let us know where are you from? Where are you joining from? Please let us know in the comments. All right. So Bernadetta, I guess this was my short introduction. From here, we can move to presentation part. But before we begin, I would like to notify our viewers that during the whole presentation, during the whole webinar, you can ask questions, because at the end of this webinar, we're going to have a Q&A session. And if something is unclear or you want to know from the inbound marketing specialist, senior inbound marketing specialist, this is your perfect moment to ask a question. All right, Bernadetta, let us know what you have prepared for us today.
So hello everyone. As you probably know, today we're gonna talk a little bit on how to turn our visitors into loyal customers. And apparently, as I was preparing for this presentation, this webinar, I realized that it's an extremely broad topic. And for us to make it a little bit easier to understand it and break it into smaller parts, I decided to go through each stage of marketing funnel. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this webinar mainly. Here is the content of today's webinar. I will expand a little bit more about customer persona, creating one for your business exactly, and also finding out what are your best selling points and basically how to emphasize them. Also, we're going to tackle a little bit a few points on how to capture your visitors' attention. So let's begin with talking about marketing funnel. It's quite a buzzword at the moment, I would say, but I kind of still find it very easy to understand marketing when we go through different stages of marketing funnel. So it's basically a journey that every potential buyer goes through to become a loyal client. So this one that you have here on the right side of the screen includes five stages: awareness, interest, consideration, purchase, and retention. This is the one that I understand. This is the one that I use. But if you Google them, you will notice that there are all kinds of marketing funnels. The names might be different. There might be anywhere between 3 and 7 different stages, but I consider these 5 to be the most easier to understand and the most commonly used, I would say. Also, what's important to know is that for every product and every service, these marketing funnel stages might be a bit different. But this is the basic model. So the first one is awareness stage. I won't expand on this one a lot because that's a broad marketing. This part requires the most effort and is either the most time consuming or the most expensive. what I mean by that is that in awareness stage, we either do inbound marketing or outbound marketing. So inbound marketing, I would say, is a little bit more time consuming, but it's usually more long-term and much cheaper. Inbound marketing is mainly SEO, and it's everything what users can find based on their own research. And but that only works for people who already know what they're looking for. If they're like looking for like a red dress, then obviously they can Google it. But if your product is totally new in the market and you're selling, for example, a new gadget that no one knows about, but it's amazing, you're probably gonna have to take it to trade shows, TV, or use maybe PPC ads to make sure that people can find it without making their own research. It's just in their face, and then they can find something that they don't even know they're looking for. So this way, it's a little bit more expensive. It's a little bit quicker because you reach your customers much quicker than you do outbound marketing. But way more people see this. And then, so that's why you have to create your buyer persona. It's especially important for young businesses. And I'm going to emphasize this buyer persona, your target audience, throughout this whole webinar, because I consider this to be basically the most important part of marketing. Knowing exactly who you are selling to. Basically, segmentation is everything. But I think the easiest thing is to create your buyer persona for young business, because it helps you to choose right communication channels, craft the right message, identify your target audience, basically. So you wouldn't start targeting like a very, very broad audience, because I have like a few examples from my own experience where it was extremely important, especially for a young marketing team that was working with products that were more for way older generation, maybe in different countries. Yeah. So how to create a buyer persona? You have to think of what your ideal buyer actually is, not what you want them to be. It includes their life goals, their challenges, their background, their interests. Based on that, you're gonna choose your channels and your message. For example, for me, like 4 years ago, I was working with in Indonesia, and I myself am from Lithuania. And then I went there. I was working with product that was like very eco-friendly, and I thought it was going to be very easy because I was using the same approach that I was using here in Lithuania, where 90% of our plastic, for example, is recycled. And I was going to use like exactly same approach. And then I went to Indonesia to work with their local market, help their local marketers and product creators. I realized that nothing that I was using here to market a similar product was working, because their people have totally different background. The culture is very, very different. And for example, even when we talk about design, we have very different preferences, and everything what I liked personally, I was so sure was gonna be working out. Nothing was. Because that's why we had to hire like local designers, because they have very different eye for things, for colors, for literally everything. So the next stage in marketing funnel is interest stage. In the interest stage, there is mainly one goal. Goal is to draw buyers' attention into your product. So as you know, like the first funnel has the most, the first stage has the most people in it. It has like a very, very broad audience. Some of them land on your website by mistake, maybe because they entered the wrong keywords that are actually not exactly what they're looking for, but sometimes they don't even know what they're looking for. So in this stage, it's very, very important to capture your visitors' attention. And here in Hostinger, they have a goal that every user that lands on our landing pages takes at least something from it. So we do like, we have, as you know, we offer these webinars, we offer a lot of ebooks, a lot of other free resources, because for us it's very, very important. Even if visitor doesn't buy anything, we want them to get something valuable from us. That's why we put a lot of effort in creating high quality content. So that's why, because if we have high quality free resources, it immediately makes visitors think that our services or product is also of quite a high quality. And then even if visitors don't buy immediately, they still might return for some more resources in the future, to for some more learning materials. And that's where you make them aware of your brand and make them interested. For example, in Hostinger, we have a lot of tutorials, a lot of guides on how to do certain things. For example, how to run your social media accounts. Even though we don't sell products related to that, but we were selling people the idea that maybe they can create their own websites. If, for example, if they already have like a big social media following and want to start selling, they already gonna know where to go to buy their first hosting, because they know we provide high quality services and high quality learning materials. So our main goal at the moment is, as I already said, to make sure no visitor leaves empty-handed. What I mean by that, that we're offering a lot of free resources. For example, one of them, as you see here, is a WordPress course. Another one is demo. Sometimes people don't even know what web hosting is, but after going to our demo, just out of curiosity, they might find it's super easy to navigate, and instead of finding programmers elsewhere, they might want to become one themselves. Also, one of the other things that we offer is free webinars, free YouTube content, video content. So you can also subscribe to our channels from most of our landing pages. And by the way, when I say landing pages, I personally have this approach where I say that every page is a landing page. Obviously, not Some pages convert better than others, but every page is a representation of your products, your services, your business, your company. So I believe that every page, whether it's a blog post or tutorial or a guide, it should still be of a very high quality and showcase the best part of your product. In order to create these freebies, these lead magnets, that's how we call them, we use a few very, very simple tools. One of them is OptinMonster. We also use MailChimp, Intercom. These are a few of the very well-known tools that we use. OptinMonster we use to create banners. MailChimp we use to create automated email journeys.
Could I ask a question, Bernadetta?
Sure.
Could you please explain a bit more what are lead magnets?
Yeah. So basically, our goal is if our visitor doesn't become a buyer right immediately, we want them at least to leave us their contact. That can be, like, it depends on business. For us, it's email address. If you're selling B2B, it's very often a phone number, so that we could at least send them our high quality resources. And in this stage, our visitors become our leads. And sometimes in this stage, they might spend quite a long time, sorry, making a decision to purchase. So lead magnet is basically everything that your users get in exchange of their contacts. If that answers your question.
Yes, completely. Thank you.
So yeah, in order to create those lead magnets, we use these tools. But what I also wanted to emphasize here is that everything depends on your company, on your business, and on your product. So maybe you should not should try to remember what your buyer persona is, what they like, and base everything on that. Because so for us in Hostinger, creating a ton of long, very comprehensive articles is an option because we're quite a big company. We have a lot of writers. But if you're just starting, I personally suggest starting with doing something that's very, very well. For example, you can focus on just creating infographics if that's something you're good at, or so then that people could share them on social media, or you could get some following on Pinterest, and maybe that's where your audience is, right? If you're a B2B company, maybe it's white papers that your salespeople are going to find on LinkedIn and then share it with their shareholders. And that's what's going to make them buy your, I don't know, CRM tool, right? So just, again, think of your target audience and base everything on that. Don't jump from thing to thing. Make sure everything is very, very high quality. And I would say these are my best tips talking about lead magnets. Well, they can also be called downloadables or freebies. It depends on what you do. Sometimes short things work much, much better than very long pieces. It can be like a simple cheat sheet. Just think of what you know best. If you're working in clothing, for example, you might be very good at giving people fashion advice. So maybe having a top trends newsletter for every season is how you get your leads. So another thing to point out here is that I suggest to use your best selling points in everything you do. Mention them, know them perfectly, and emphasize them in all of your communication, whether it's social media, newsletter, or landing pages. Sometimes I feel that a lot of people struggle to identify their best selling points. Where I usually go is at our customer reviews. Also, another place where I see what are our best selling points is our customers chat with customer support. That's where they very often leave quite nice comments there, and it's very nice to read it, and it comes from like the first people who are actually using it. So it's not what you think, it's what your customers think your best selling points are, because very often they used other tools or other services, other products, and they can compare and be objective. Another thing is to conduct competitor research. Take a look at what they do, compare of what you offer. Always keep an eye, and yeah, don't forget to be objective. And because from my experience, we very often focus us on what we think is our best selling point and don't even notice what's out there. And you can always also take a look at competitors' reviews on like review sites, because especially if you're a bigger company, work for a bigger company, then people often compare different products in their reviews as well. And yeah, you can get some insights there as well. And then my tip here would be make a list of things that you do the best in the market, and then make a list and then use it in all of your communication. And if you a very new product, it's a must. And if you think that there is that you're not the best, but I bet you see that how you could be the best, then try to get those low hanging fruits, and if it requires just small changes. For example, if you could be like, if you're selling software and you see that your navigation is almost the best, but with a few or all the customers of your competitors are complaining about the same thing, maybe it's a low hanging fruit and you can easily solve that in your software, and very quickly become the best in that thing at least. Then consideration stage is crucial in the market funnel, because at this point your potential customers already know that they want to buy product like yours, but in this point they're already taking a look at other options, comparing. And I would say it's in this stage, it's very, very important to make everything easily accessible. For example, comparison pages. If you only have like not that many competitors in the market, you can easily then it's going to be way easier for your clients to compare, and maybe they won't even have to go to other websites to look what they can get from competitors. This way you have a chance to show how you want your company to be compared to others, your product, your services. And again, that's your chance to communicate your best selling points here. Also in this stage, obviously depending on the product, but it's very common for online products at least to have online demonstrations. So make sure these are easily accessible, free, and your salespeople are always ready to help and prepared to answer all questions that your potential buyers might have. As well, again, depends on your business, but email marketing here might be crucial. Your salespeople, your sales representatives must know when to push clients, when to remind them of your, again, best selling points, and then to slip in the best offer. And never ever forget to follow up. And one more important thing is community management here, and getting reviews from your clients. So then this consideration stage would be much shorter for your potential clients, because then they could see all the amazing reviews of your current clients. In this purchase stage, this one is quite short, but it's very similar to, it can be interconnected with consideration stage, and might be actually very long and very short depending on your business. I used to work in B2B before, and this purchase stage or sometimes consideration stage, depends, might take months and months and months, because if it's a B2B company, they often have to take to their shareholders, talk to them about your offer, make a comparison with like 10 other products. And that's why your salespeople have to be very well trained if they're working with B2B companies, and again, be able to slip in the best possible offer at the right time. But if you're talking about online shops, then where this purchase stage might be done like within a few minutes, then things are probably much more simple. Well, it depends how you look at it. But much more simple, at least much more clear and much more easier to test. So my best advice is to make sure these few things are working well. You're a fast chatbot, easy checkout. You emphasize that returns are easy, or you offer money back guarantee and things like that. Things that make the final decision very, very easy. And then you have to go to over 5 pages to find out about these things. Another very low hanging fruit here that a lot of companies make, a lot of companies make a lot of profit is cart abandoners. It's a very, very narrow, very, very targeted audience, because you already know that people who already had your products in their cart only dropped out because of a very small reason, for most likely 90% of the time. So what they need is probably like a very small push. So an email series might be just what they need. If they don't buy it from the first email, they very likely gonna buy it from third or second. A Hotjar tool can be very helpful here because you can see why they dropped out. Maybe they dropped out and they saw the final price, or that your delivery isn't free. So maybe if you can allow this to yourself, if you can afford this, maybe in the second or third email, just offer them a free delivery or 10% discount instead of losing on $1,000 worth of purchase. Yeah, so that's something that a lot of companies make money off, and it's a total win-win. The last and final stage is retention stage. This happens post-sale. Communication here is very, very important, because returning and long-term clients are the cheapest to acquire. That sounds quite bad, but when I say this out loud, but basically, sorry, they're most cost effective because they already know how good your product is. They've already tried it, and you don't need to spend money on the Google ads, writing long blog posts, or buying ads on social media. They already know about your product. They already know how to use it. They already know how good it is. So they often need just like a small push. And they're there again. And the best part about your returning and long-term clients is that they can be your brand ambassadors. And very, very often, with good referral programs, they can get you a lot of new customers without you doing like anything, because they do all the job for you. Because this message about a good product spreads quickly. That's why, in order to turn your your clients into brand ambassadors, I suggest taking a look at their needs, providing good customer support, offering referral programs, so they could also earn a little bit of being a brand ambassador, and it's like a total win-win. Also, don't forget surveys to know why they might not be using your product. If it's like a software, you sometimes see that people purchase it and stop using it. And then often, if you ask them why, you realize that there's like a very tiny obstacle why they're not using it. And then they become very happy customers and spread the word and buy it again and again. And email communication is quite important. So, because that's one of the ways for you to make sure they know about the newest developments of your service, of your product. That's where you can easily use upsell, which is selling them additional complementary products or services. And then everyone is happy, because they don't have to look for other additional services, and you make a sale. So last but not least, I suggest you to create your own marketing funnel for your business. Not just take one random one from the internet. Actually listen to what your clients are saying, to what your sales representatives are saying. This one is actually quite interesting to me, because I think the most interesting insights I hear are from, I've heard in my career, were from sales representatives, because they're talking to your customers daily basis. Not And most importantly, not only your customers, but your potential clients who opt out like the last moment. And your sales representatives know exactly why, usually, not usually, but like very, very often, because clients are usually very, very open. They tell why they're opting for other companies, other service providers. Uh, and sometimes it's something that you can very easily fix. Um, so yeah, sales representatives, I would say, is one of the best sources to get insights. And again, client surveys, your current client surveys. Maybe sometimes you can even offer them some incentives in order to open up and talk more about your product. We did this in Hostinger. We conducted a customer survey recently where we talked to hundreds of our clients. It was extremely insightful, and based on that, we are actually crafting our marketing messages from now on, and that's how we choose our things that we focus on, products that we focus on. And yeah, well, CRM is basically also talking to your, seeing what your clients are saying. And depending on your company, you will see how long your leads spend in every stage, which will make it easier for you to create your own marketing funnel. And another important thing, don't forget to take a look at your marketing funnel constantly and see where your customers get stuck, if it's consideration, or maybe it's only a purchase stage. If it's purchase stage, maybe your sales representatives are not doing everything perfectly. It's very, very easy to see these things in your CRM, because usually they have these analytic options. Yeah. And that's it from me today. I hope you all have some questions for me.
Thank you, Bernadetta. Of course, if you have any questions, this is your perfect moment to ask them, because soon we're gonna start our Q&A session. And actually, before we start, is it okay to ask some few questions to you, Bernadetta?
Sure.
All right, so let's try imagining this. I'm a new customer at Hostinger. I just finished setting up my web hosting. I just finished setting up my WordPress website. I used this coupon code. Actually, this is a real discount coupon, and it ends on August 3rd. So as I said before, so I just finished setting up my WooCommerce store, and I'm selling dog toys or dog products. What would be my first and the most important thing I should do in order to get my first sales? Should I create a buyer's persona or what?
Yeah, that's basically what I would do. I would identify who are my perfect buyers, who is my perfect buyer. And based on that, I would start crafting my marketing messages. I would use, for example, if I've already been known for working with dogs and I have big following on social media, I would start there, because I know a lot of my target audience is there. That's how I knew my WooCommerce store is gonna work. If these toys are something very, very new, very, very something that no one has seen before, I would probably go to probably invest a little bit more money in paid ads for people who are searching for innovative dog toys. But yeah, the first one is like that, as I said before, like after you identify who your target audience is, it's very easy to choose your marketing channels. And then after I identify them, I choose my marketing channels, and then I would go to market hosting your tutorials to see how to use those channels.
All right, thank you. And when I'm creating this buyer's persona, should I write everything down on paper, or what? What would you recommend?
I would say that's the easiest thing to do. I mean, you can use paper, you can use Google Sheet, whatever whatever you feel comfortable using. But I would do this with my whole team. Well, it depends how big your team is, but I assume it's at the beginning, it's usually quite small. It's very important for everyone to know what we're dealing with, our sales representatives, our marketing team, so that everything would be aligned and everyone would have everything in front of their eyes at all time and would know what they're dealing with.
Thank you. I guess we can move on to Q&A session. Just a second, I'm gonna check all the questions. It seems like we don't have too many questions, but we still have some time. So if you have any questions, ask them now, because Bernadetta will help you. All right, so let's start with the very first question, and it is right here. Could you please explain what are PPC ads, Bernadetta?
PPC basically means pay-per-click. You pay per every based on how many people click. So it's not like prepaid ads where, for example, when you're buying an ad on TV, you pay them like $10,000 and the results don't depend on you. No matter what results are, if it brings you 100,000 euros or 500 euros, you still pay the same price for the TV people. And then PPC ads are usually the most common form is Google ads, where you bid on certain keywords and pay based on how many clicks you get.
Thank you. By the way, I could add something. If you want to learn a bit more about creating ads, setting up ads, some skills for beginners, actually in September, on September 8th of September, we are going to have a webinar where, again, our in-house guest, Hussein, he will teach us how to create ads. He is going to talk about PPC ads. So if you are interested, stay tuned. All right, let's move on to another question. And this question sounds like this. My pop-ups conversion rate is always below 0.05. What could be the problem?
The best way to know is to run A/B test. Without seeing your pop-up, I can't tell you why, but I would say they might be in a very inconvenient location on your position on your website. They might be hard to close, or very likely they might be just simply irrelevant. As I said before, it's very important to only advertise something that actually bring value to your customers. Like, for example, for us, we only offer freebies related to WordPress and setting up your WordPress page on our articles that are talking about WordPress. On the article that's talking about social media campaigns, we are showing pop-up related to social media, for example, social media calendar, and etc. So that people would see the keyword that they entered before they landed on that landing page also in your pop-up, so that they could relate to it. Also, if 90% of your people, for example, are landing to your website from mobile, very likely that pop-up is very inconvenient for them, and it actually even damages your bounce rate, increases your bounce rate, and damages your statistics more than brings value. So there can be a lot of reasons, but these, I would say, are the most common. It not being relevant, not offering anything relevant, or being technically inappropriate.
Thank you. Thank you for the answer. All right, let's move on to another question. And this question sounds like this. It's quite an interesting question. Can you comment, please, why Hostinger started VPS, Virtual Private Servers service, and why this service isn't popular in Hostinger overall services, I mean, from marketing side?
So does it ask why it's popular or unpopular?
Why it's unpopular? Why do you think why it isn't so popular? I have my theory, but you are a guest, so go ahead.
I'll be honest. I'm not sure I'm competent to answer this question, but our most popular service has always been WordPress hosting because it's much easier to start, and that's basically our target audience. But what's your theory?
Yeah, it's kind of similar actually. Nowadays, a lot of people are just looking for fast, easy, quick way to build their websites, and usually using content management systems like WordPress is much easier. And VPS, I guess I could say for more tech-savvy people who are looking more control over their servers, where they might want to install other operating systems and so on. And if you are just a regular user who just wants to start your website fast, quick, and start get results, then probably your best option would be WordPress, web hosting. So yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, exactly. WordPress, I guess, is more understandable for a broader audience. That's that's why.
Yes. Yeah, let's move on to another question. All right. And this one sounds like this. What do you recommend for quick launching of website? Is it better to get something imperfect out quickly and improve the site as you go, or wait till the site is amazing before launching?
It's actually quite a tough question, I must say, because I guess it depends on you as a person. But it depends what you're expecting. If you expect to already have, as I said, for example, the example that I used before, if you already have a huge social following, you have like 200 followers, 200,000 followers on Instagram, and you're already launching an online store, you already know that there's going to be a lot of people coming to your store immediately. So I would have something simple, but quite well prepared. So at least it would look trustworthy because security comes first. So that people would easily, so it would be easy to find what products you're selling, and payment would be secure. If these two things are done on your website, I would probably launch and see where people get stuck and work on it a bit later. Yeah, that's what I would probably do. What would you do with this?
I can tell from my own experience. Actually, when I create websites, I do have a couple of projects going on. And having an amazing website, a perfect website is basically impossible, because you always find that there's something wrong with your website. You want to improve the layout or anything like that, to make a customer experience better. And is it better to launch it without making it trustworthy? No, it's not. You should make it at least professional looking, trustworthy, so that customers wouldn't run away when they see your website. And after that, you can work on it to improve anything you want. I usually like to spend a lot of time on improving website load speed, the overall experience. So yeah, there's probably no such thing as an amazing website, because for at least a couple of days, you might think that your website is amazing, but after a couple of days, you will start looking ways to improve it. So yeah, that's my opinion. All right, so we can move on to another question. All right, so this is going to be the last question, and it sounds like this. Which platform is the best, Taboola or Facebook for traffic? Which one is the best? What do you think?
I would say I would test them both and see where your audience is. That's as simple as that. Basically, testing is the key.
Totally. I actually like Facebook better, because it's kind of easy to grow Facebook pages if you know what you're doing. Here's a quick tip: if you want to grow your Facebook page, create a Facebook page, add interesting, valuable content, funny content, and then share your content to Facebook groups. Later on, you can invite all the people who reacted to your content. This way, you'll grow your Facebook page faster.
Yeah, and the very small thing to add, when I start something new, I usually start with well-known tools, because they usually have very easy integrations with other tools, other websites. There's usually a lot of information on YouTube. You can just watch videos on how to launch certain things. So just simply much easier to start with something well-known and already used by a lot of users, because community is usually big and they can help you.
Thank you, Bernadetta. All right, just a second. I guess we have another question. All right, so we had a follow-up question. Thank you for your answer regarding VPS, Virtual Private Service. So if VPS isn't popular with Hostinger, then why Hostinger decide to launch VPS service? Because actually there are people who might be interested in VPS. It might not be the most popular type of services, but definitely there is market who is interested in having their own virtual private server. But do you have something to add up, Bernadetta? What do you think?
No, not really. As I said, it's more for a little bit more advanced users who already know what they're looking for. So that's why you might not notice as much marketing campaigns promoting VPS, because those people already know what they're looking for and they're going for it, and they're gonna find it themselves.
Thank you. All right, so I guess there are no more questions. Maybe there's gonna be another question. Audience, could you maybe? Okay, it doesn't matter because we are almost done. But before we leave, here's a coupon code. Don't forget to use it because it's limited time offer, and you will get 15% of your WordPress starter plan. So this is your perfect chance to start your WordPress website if you haven't started it yet. All right, it seems like we got a comment. Oh, very nice comment. It says, great webinar, Bernadetta.
Thank you. I hope you took at least one thing from it.
All right, so I guess this is it. Thank you, Bernadetta, for the information. It was quite refreshing. I was looking forward to your presentation, and thank you for joining us in this webinar.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so this is it. See you in the next one. And as I told you before, if you heard it, the next webinar will be on September 8th. So we will be talking about running PPC ads. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Goodbye.